straight away, yeah. No, it's same as before, carry on.
No. Same as before?
Yeah.
Alright, so it's not that. Right, so
It did spark momentarily.
this is a Yamaha 9.9 high thrust, which is considered in the boating world as one of the most reliable workhorse engines. They're also considered the perfect engine to push my 3.5 ton 42 foot catamaran along, and with a speed test we managed to get about 7 knots of speed with 2 of these in flat calm water. This one, however, has been far from reliable. It's been the bane of my project, perhaps. Well, there's been a few banes, but it's been one of the banes of my project's existence. And in this episode, we're going to try and get her back to that fabled, reliable state. So far, there's been quite a lot of work done to the engine. So we've replaced the propeller. We've replaced oil seals because the oil was milky. I changed the regulator rectifier on this engine, which controls the charge to the battery, because it was charging at over 17 volts. Once I changed that, that was absolutely fine, but it then blew another relay. So the main problems with this engine are that it keeps blowing the starter relays or the solenoids, and no matter how hot it is, it won't start up until after 10 seconds of cranking. And also it will cut out when going from high to low revs, and usually at the most inconvenient times as well. In this episode, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. Also, do you like my new microphone? It's quite professional, hey? What's first, Steve?
Now we've had the starter tested, that's come back alright, it's come back perfect, so we'll connect it all up. Well, we've got it here, we might as well do a compression test anyway and just see what's happening, see what it's like. You've got a fuel pump, haven't you, so we'll put a fuel pump on and clean the filter maybe, make sure the filter's alright. If need be, maybe check the carburetor, see what it's like if it gets run, if we get it running.
We're on our 4th starter solenoid relay. They just keep blowing. It's interesting to see inside how it actually works. So obviously the live wires to the starter are here, and you have these 2 plates and then a little spring-loaded button. These 2 wires make this pin force against the little spring-loaded button and make a connection. It's an electromagnet, so this gets charged and it will force that down, but it is this part which keeps blowing, and we don't quite know why. This sort of switch wire is very thin, so if there is too much current there, or perhaps if I've been trying to turn the engine over multiple times, perhaps that has led to it snapping.
Just look a bit wetter, a bit rich really, a bit damp. I'm struggling to get it out. Need a proper 18mm long socket.
I have had this off before, to be fair, with long-nosed mole grips, and that has done the
Christmas
trick.
present, isn't it? Proper 18mm socket.
Yeah.
Thin, long reach one. That's what we need. Crusty, but
Bit crusty.
bit crusty. Just hope it's the right side. So we just need to spin it over a few times and just keep the throttle on so we get maximum air in, just for a few seconds. Right, so that's not bad, is it? So we'll see if the other ones are similar. Yeah, it wants to be the same, but that looks quite healthy, that, to me. We'll drop that off. So
You keep both spark plugs out.
yeah, because you want it to turn over as fast as you can, really. Okay, yeah, it's very much the same.
Yeah, 180.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's good.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
the bones are good.
Yeah, and that's with it cold as well, don't forget, because when it's warmer and you've got oil up there and that, it should possibly a bit higher. It's an old box spanner,
Yeah.
so until we get a proper one, that'll probably do.
Is that legal, red diesel?
Yeah, for heating, yeah.
Okay. So with this engine, no matter how hot it is, it will always take a good while to actually start. So usually, obviously, a hot engine, it should just turn over once or twice and start. There is a problem, probably with fuel. So we've got a fuel filter to check out. And also I've got a new fuel pump as well. But we'll look at the old pump and see if that's all good.
So they're just little like reed valves. Lets it come in and it can't go out again, but it can go out there.
How does it look?
Oh, that's alright. Can't physically see anything wrong with it.
This is the new one.
We just put a piece of pipe in the middle just to join it, because the other had a manifold block on, but there was nothing in there, no valve or anything, so I think it just comes straight through. It's a good test for the solenoid anyway.
Yeah.
It's gone tight now, so. So we make sure it's sparking. Do the quick one again, just give it everything. Go on. No, nothing.
No spark.
No spark.
That's weird.
Put it next to the cylinder head just see if we get a spark jumping. And we had a bit of a spark on that one, but it was really weak and it wasn't consistent. So we'll just see if this bottom one's the same. Maybe if we can find out the best way of testing the coil pack. No, there's nothing there.
No?
No.
So we've done a bit of googling. If we test the resistance by putting one on the positive and then one on the negative on the ground, should be like 0 point something.
And that's reading about 2.7.
2.7.
I think we did the same, the live side of the coil and then the HT. We're kind of getting 0 there, so it's possible it could be the coil. I think we'll have to do a bit of further research.
Yeah.
But it's obviously something strange going on.
Because this is kind of like a new thing, really.
Yeah. Well, I just made this up from a bit of scrap at work. It's just to hold the flywheel while we undo the bolt, and then we'll have to draw this off, this flywheel, just so we can check just underneath the flywheel and make sure everything's alright.
So you've also made this as well?
Yeah, I've just made a drawing off tool for the flywheel, because it'll be on a taper and a key probably, so it'll be really tight. I'll just mark it first, but I'm pretty sure that it'll be on a key. Just gonna knock onto it, it'll shock it a bit. That's it.
Oh. Okay. So how does this charging system work?
Well, we've got two coils here, two stators. These two charge AC, and it does that by some magnets in here. Creates a current as it goes round. The AC goes into the voltage regulator, the what's his name you changed, the rectifier, changes to direct current and recharges the battery. It's just a case of checking that the wiring's alright, there's not earthing out or anything. There is a resistance in the coils, which I'm sure there is because the battery is charging. We've not any problems on that side. And on this side, the other coil, that's the ignition coil, and that's very similar. That creates a current with these magnets and the stator, and that goes to the C.D.I unit, which then sparks the coil pack via like a trigger, which is this. It's like a trigger on here, and that there's a little lump on the flywheel there. When that comes round, that sees it and triggers the C.D.I to send the voltage to the coil pack. It's pretty simple. It's just making sure that there's resistance in the coils and that there's no coils going to earth, broken wiring. That's about it really. We'll just check the ignition coil for the resistance, make sure the resistance is within spec. So that's about 370, isn't it? So
Dad got the spec sheet for this engine. It says between 300 and 400. So checking the trigger for the spark.
About 284-ish, 284, 285.
So everything on the top end of the charging circuit, the stator, everything seems good. So we can rule that out, and we're sort of left now with a potential faulty C.D.I or coil pack. We'll stick it all back together, we'll get it running, we'll see what the spark is like, double check the spark is weak, and we'll make a plan from there. What's this device?
It just shows you the spark and the plug. Sparking now.
It's actually sparking quite well, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've warmed it up now, we'll see if it starts well, and we'll see if it's magically fixed itself. No spark.
It's taking a while for it. Just keep. I'll tell you when it sparks. One. Yeah, it's sparking very slowly.
So
Spark. Yeah. So we'll test for the what's his name anyway, isn't it?
yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
back after a few days waiting for some parts to come, but this session will be the session where we get the engine up and running back to that reliable state that she should be in. We sort of narrowed down that it could be two things that are causing this weak spark when starting. That is the coil pack and a C.D.I unit. So there was the option of getting the really cheap, straight out of the Chinese factory C.D.I units and coil packs, or getting the mid-range ones from a European factory. I think one of them is supplied by Toshiba, or getting the OEM parts, which would have come to a total of about £800, which at this point with this engine is just not worth it. So I've gone for the mid-range ones, and they look good quality. They're supposedly marine grade. This should be pretty much the last bit of money that we've spent on this engine. All in all, the amount of time and money that we've spent on the engine, it's not been worth it. Should have got a new one, but we've learnt a lot, haven't we, Dad?
Learnt loads, yeah.
We've learnt loads.
I've learnt a lot as well.
I've learnt a lot about engines and also about buying cheap ones off the internet. Anyway, we've done the compression test, so we know that the bones are very solid in the engine, but hopefully today we're going to get her back to that reliable state. So we will probably start with putting the coil pack on, and then we'll know if it was the coil pack or not. If not, then we'll put the C.D.I unit on. Maybe we'll change them both anyway.
So the old is 1484 kilo ohms. The new one 11.73 kilo ohms. So whether that makes a difference, I don't know.
Moment of truth.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready?
Yeah. No, it's same as before. Carry on. Just do it. No.
Same as before.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's not that. We do have a bit of a problem in that the aftermarket C.D.I unit does not have exactly the same colour coded wires, but we've been researching, looking at different C.D.I drawings, and we're hoping, as you can see here, we've got a red going to a green and white, but this is from the trigger, and that on a C.D.I drawing the red and white goes to the trigger. So through process of elimination and working out which one's a male and female, we hope we've got it, because we don't want to be sending current places it doesn't want to go. This is going to be a big fingers crossed moment, I think. This is really the moment of truth. Ready?
Yeah. Yeah. Went straight away. Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
So it was a C.D.I
It
unit.
was the C.D.I unit all this time. It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo, isn't it? The whole time.
Well, we couldn't really test it, could we? So we had a proper voltage tester coming from it to here.
Yeah,
so,
and that's like more expensive than an engine.
Yeah.
I did suspect it.
I didn't really, but
just because of all the ghostly things that have been happening.
Yeah. Well, I can just a mixture out of it on it. Yeah, we'll just blow it out. It's just the idle jet, so we'll just blow it out and just see if it makes it any better and just adjust it. Just for the mixture on idle, the air idle screw.
Yeah, so when we rev up to high revs from low revs,
It falters, doesn't it?
Mm.
You just screw it all the way in until it bottoms, and then just bring it like 1.5 turns out. 1.5, and then just set it from there. That's just like a base setting.
We were thinking that the plate on the fuel pump, which we took off, was actually a crankcase breather, but it's actually routing the telltale through the fuel pump, and we think that that's to cool the fuel a little bit. So we're going to try and use the new pump that we've got, but put the previous backing plate on it, and hopefully it'll fit and everything, and we have fuel cooling. So, for the first time ever, the engine is behaving as it should do. So, turning the key, it has an automatic choke, so when you put the key in it automatically chokes it with this little pinion gear thingy-majiggy. That's not the right term, but it's working how it should be. All the electrics have been changed with good quality parts. We still need to see whether the relays will still blow, but I do think that this C.D.I unit is probably doing something, sending current the wrong way. And it's a very fine coil inside those solenoids, so if there is any sort of back current or voltage spikes, then it's going to blow that coil. So I'm pretty confident that this is pretty much sorted now. My dad's not 100% happy with the fuel mixture, so I think while I'm still here we're going to redo the carb, take that apart, take it to pieces. Also, it spins freely on its thingy-majig, so we need to, well, my dad's going to make a bracket, so we'll do that as well so that it stays in the right direction. Previously I'd just tied a lot of ropes to make it sort of stay in the right place, which worked up until a point, but it's been a while since I posted a proper video, and I'm not sure how this video will do in terms of views, so if you do leave me a like, if you're not subscribed, then please subscribe. It will help me a lot, especially trying to pick up that momentum again. This break's been so good for me. I've recharged so much, and I think in two weeks or so I'll be back at the boat grinding through this winter and spring, getting the boat to a place where I feel comfortable that I can sail her in the English Channel, across Biscay, and then as far as possible. Ideal destination is Portugal or Spain, and that is my absolute 100% laser focused goal to get there. But I am going to be doing a good 4 or 5 months of work on the boat to get to that point. I'm going to leave in summer just for the ideal conditions. Hopefully it's, you know, I'll get some nice northerlies that will blow me down there, but it's going to be a really exciting year, and I have just been taking this time just to rest up. I've seen so much of my family and friends, my granny. We've been having lots of cups of tea, and it's just been great, and I need this. It's been nice coming back, recharging my batteries. I am gonna hang on here a couple more weeks, get a few little bits and bobs done. I'm ordering stuff online which I need, which my parents can bring over with me, and I'll probably just fly back on my own in a couple of weeks. It's flipping cold here now. You fellow English people will understand. There's been a lot of snow and ice and stuff. I actually quite like it. It's very cozy. And a huge thanks to everyone who's still continued to support me through Patreon and PayPal. I have done a few little updates, but they've been really not much happening, just sort of tracking my progress through this. It's basically just been a case of me saying, oh, we've not quite found the problem yet. I'm just waiting for the new parts to come, and etc, etc. So thank you so much for bearing with me, and thanks for all your continued support, all your names showing up on the screen. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you can, subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.